Welcome to Nothing But Net. I am so pleased to be joined by the head coach from Belmont and Bart Brooks. Bart, it's so good to see you. How's it going, man?
Debbie, it is going fantastic. It's great to see you. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen, it's a tough road and a tough grind this time of year as we're all navigating February into March. How's it going for your team? Because I know you had kind of a rough start, but now it seems like everything's clicking.
Yeah, I mean, we've I feel like we've definitely been through some ups and downs in a really challenging non-conference schedule, and obviously going into the new league in the Missouri Valley and learning these arenas and these logistics of travel into new cities and playing against some really good teams and really good players and coaches, and it's been a lot of peaks and valleys for the Bruins so far this year. But I think I'm really proud of our group, the way that they've stayed the course, they've held it together, and I think we're playing our best basketball that we played all year right now, and still have a lot of improving to do. So I think we're in a good place, and it's just about staying healthy and staying fresh now down the home stretch.
You start thinking about staying healthy, staying fresh, reps versus rest is always a conversation I hear all the coaches having this time of year. Do you manage that February grind versus what it's like in November or December?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we almost take a deep breath every day we get through a practice and everything's good. We're just we're we need to get better at this stuff, but never at the expense of wearing ourselves out or putting someone in a position where they're gonna have a overuse injury or just not be fresh for the weekend when we play. So that's a huge challenge every year, and I think that's something I wish I had a better way to handle it, a better answer for it. But I do know that our players, they're working extremely hard, and they're getting close to that time of year where if we aren't good at it now, we're never going to be good at it. So we need to be fresh and ready to play and play hard, play fast, all that good stuff. And I think that's going to give us the best shot to have a good run here at the end of the season.
When I was watching your team in November, you could see that where all the pieces were there, and Sydney Harvey was a new piece that you were trying to mix in. But you have incredible speed in the backcourt. You have great experience. You're a team that seems to climb steadily through the season over the years because you've had such great postseason success. So I know there's some sort of formula that works for you in February without giving up too many secrets. Like, what is it, Bart, about how you get your group to play their best basketball at the end of the year?
I don't know that I have a great answer for that, other than it might just take me a little longer than most coaches to figure my team out. And it's taken me a while this year. I feel like I finally, in the last 2 weeks, really, as a group of coaches, we finally kind of got a rhythm of how we're going to rotate, how we're going to get the right lineups on the floor together most, and how we're going to be better at the end of quarters, and all those little things that you kind of trial and error your way through at the beginning of the year, not really sure how people are going to respond when games start. And I think maybe if I could zoom out to 60,000 foot view earlier in the season and play some of our younger kids through the really difficult non-conference schedule more. But it's so hard when you're in the middle of it. You're trying to win the game that's in front of you. Mm-hmm. And in hindsight, going through what we went through, we'd have been a better team now had I played some of our younger kids in those stretches. So I think it's just trial and error, learning as you go. And I know I got a lot of getting better to do as a coach, but man, I really like where our team is right now.
You played a hard schedule in the non-conference, but I always believe that maybe the portal has changed some things now, but I always believe that coaches have a really good vision about what kind of schedule their team needs so that they can be at their best at the end of the year. When you look back on that hard schedule, would you have changed it, or would you have continued, maybe, like you said, play the younger kids a little bit more, but would you have changed the level of competition that you faced?
I had some very long nights during the middle of it. And I know you were around and saw a couple of those nights. But no, I wouldn't change a thing. And I wouldn't change a thing because I think we're having success and we're confident right now as a group because we went through those experiences. And had I prepared the path for our team, I'm not sure they'd be as good a team as preparing our team for the path that's ahead of us. So I think we as a program try to do that every year. And I came from Coach Bruno's program where he does that every year. And I really don't know any other way to do it. And I think that's for us to try to move ourselves up and to be the next level of team and able to compete with the next level of team. We've got to put ourselves in those positions as many times as possible.
I know that you are a terrific in-game adjuster. I know that you have, because I've watched you for so many years and have watched your success, and knowing that you came from Coach Bruno's coaching tree. I look at this time of year, not just what you might change or tweak in the second half, maybe hold the press to the second half or hold a zone to the second half when you want to change it up, but also the people that you're incorporating, like your young players now, the second half of the season. How much of that can you pre-plan in advance, or is it something that you just have a feel for because you've experienced it so much as a head coach, making decisions, late in the season or late in a second half?
Yeah, I think a lot of it you try to pre-plan. I mean, we worry about everything as coaches. I mean, we just walk around miserable all the time because we're worried about all the horrible things that could happen and what we're going to do if this happens and what we're going to do if that happens. And so I think you try to plan for some of those things and try to have it laid out. But I think I've found that it's probably more the other way for me of we're in the middle of a game and we're struggling and it doesn't make sense to do this, but it just feels like I need to do this. And sometimes it's great. And sometimes, who in the world is coaching that team? That's what everyone's thinking. But I think more than anything, it's our players, I think, having the belief in what we're doing and the buy-in that every decision we make as a staff, we tell them we could make a horrible call out of a timeout and they go and they make a play anyway. And that the number of times that's happened, people would be astounded. Coaches shouldn't talk about that as much as it actually happens. But, I think our players are just in a confident place. And I think they've gained that confidence. I've got a great coaching staff. I've got a group of assistant coaches that they're with these players every day after practice, getting extra shots, working on something to help them get more confident, more skilled, more reps of something that's going to help them in a game. So I think our players are really the answer to the magic of the end of the year.
And so how has it been in the Valley going around, getting ready to go through a second time? Some teams you've already played twice, but when you're trying to advance prep for the league, I know how much respect you have for the league. I know how much they were looking forward to your program being there. Also, Murray State being the new additions this year. What has it been like? I know you said you have to adjust as a shooter. I mean, the gyms are different. The lighting's different. The stuff that you don't think are a big deal might affect some of your kids. Has any of that stuff, that little detail stuff, bothered your kids in terms of playing and competing in the Valley?
Yeah, I think it's been for sure unique and different. And I've used the analogy that when you walk into a room and everyone, and then there's two people that you meet for the first time, but everyone else, it's easy to remember their names. But when you go into a room and you meet 12 new people all at once, it takes a little time and effort to figure out, okay, who's that again? Who's that? And that's kind of what we're dealing with right now, with learning new schemes, new programs, new styles of coaching, playing a group of really good coaches for a second time to see how they're going to adjust to the first game and how they're going to do stuff differently. Being in Iowa in January and there's snow everywhere,
Yeah.
and our players, we have to buy them winter coats and hats and gloves. They don't even know, a couple of them had never seen snow like that. So it's definitely been an adjustment in terms of travel and where we've been. And the gyms are really difficult to play in. And that's, playing on the road in college basketball anywhere is hard. And in this league, I think anytime you play league games where you're playing the same people and you're watching the same teams over and over, you get really familiar. And so it's been an unbelievably great challenge for us. And we love it. And we're excited about it. And, starting round 2 and getting into some of the repeat now, we're excited about, being able to make some adjustments and, take the next step of learning these teams and learning this league.
Bart, as long as I've known you, I never think you ever have a bad day. And some great leader told me once that the head coach can never have a bad day in practice, right? The head coach has to always be ready and find some reservoir of energy and strength to be able to get your team ready. Where do you go when you need to find that extra level that, this time of year can provide?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way of looking at it. And I think I agree with that 100%. I think I get it from home. I got two little boys. My oldest is about to turn 8 on Saturday. He's going to do it at a Belmont basketball game of all places. So I can't, that's the best of both worlds. And then I've got a little 5-year-old as well, 2 little boys. And when I go home at night and we've had a bad practice or we lost a game, and my 8-year-old, almost 8-year-old, he'll say, "Dad, you guys struggled tonight, huh?" It's like, "Yeah, we sure did, bud." But then he just wants to play basketball. And so I go play basketball with him, and everything gets back to kind of a different perspective and a different understanding. And I think having boys of my own, little guys, it's helped me really have a lot different perspective about the young ladies I get to coach every day, that every person on my team that I'm coaching is someone's little girl. And just keeping that in perspective when you're coaching these kids, that they're people that, they've got good and bad days, and they're dealing with all sorts of chaos and craziness outside of the basketball court where everyone sees them compete and perform. And so that's helped me kind of keep a perspective. And then, my beautiful wife, who I'm fortunate enough to, go home every night with my hair on fire, thinking the world's ending. And then I wake up the next morning, I go to work, and I don't think there's anyone who can beat us, because she kind of gives me that just comfort and confidence in myself. So I couldn't do it without those guys. That's for sure.
Just one last thing, because I want to spin it the other way, because I have 3 boys and they have been around a lot of really strong, powerful women that they have learned a great deal from. When you look at your guys and they're in the gym with your team and it's all women and it's you in the gym with them, what do you see in them, or what do you hope that you'll see as they develop and grow and become responsible young guys?
Yeah, I think what they're growing up, they're seeing the players that I'm blessed to coach as really strong, powerful, independent, tough, just really capable young women. And there's an appreciation for that these young guys get to grow up with, that I didn't grow up with, that a lot of guys don't grow up with when they're not around women's sports as much as they should be. And I'm just thrilled that my boys get that experience through firsthand experience of watching our team, watching our players. And they're bringing their little teammates. That the last home game, we had 8 little guys behind our bench screaming their heads off for every good thing or every bad thing that happened. And just having that excitement for the game and for athletes competing, and really having an appreciation for that is really cool at a young age. And I'm blessed that we've got the ability to experience that together.
Well, that's pretty cool. I know I've seen it in my guys. They're grown up now, and I hope they'll always find that level of respect and treat everybody with great respect, which I know you and your wife are doing a wonderful job with your kids. Bart, just a parting shot, like 1 or 2 things that maybe you have learned from your time in the Valley so far that you did anticipate or did not expect.
Yeah, I think I knew the league was going to be a level of competition greater than what we were used to, night in and night out. What I probably didn't understand fully was that you could play really well and still get beat. But if you played bad, you are going to get beat. Like, you can't win if you don't play well. And I think we all kind of thought that going in, but man, after the first 12 games, that is 100% accurate, that if you don't play well, you will get beat. And that's an awesome thing as a coach, to just, you can't sleepwalk through any of these games. And I think maybe the most exciting part for me is just looking at the future of where this league can go. I see teams and programs that are as competitive. We've played as good a schedule as anyone in our league, and there haven't been teams we played in our non-conference that our league teams couldn't have beat. And so I think the level of talent of this league, where we can go and what we can do, hopefully moving forward, is to be able to have, 2, 3, 4 teams go to the NCAA tournament instead of 1 or 2 teams go to the NCAA tournament. I think there's potential for that. And I think there's a desire for that around the league in terms of the administrative support and where we're going. So to me, I'm not sure I really understood that, how close we are to being maybe at that next level of really, really good at this league. So I'm excited about that for the future.
We knew the coaching was good. We knew the competition would be good. The resources are good, and the people are outstanding. And you just add to all that, Bart. You and your program have made the Valley stronger and tougher. And I agree with you. It has been more than a one bid league for many years, which should continue to do so. Boy, if they could ever get to 3 bids, that'd be pretty cool for the NCAA tournament. Thank you so much, Bart, for taking time out of your schedule and your game prep to be able to spend some time with us on Nothing But Net.
You're the best, Debbie. Thank you.